Hi, Courtney. So I am home for Labor Day weekend, even though we only left for school like a week ago, but our dearest, darlingest, youngest brother, Kirk, is having a birthday. It's Kirk's birthday. It's Kirk's birthday. We're gonna party like it's Kirk's birthday. And you are also home! Although you're not actually home right now, because clearly you hate me and don't want to spend any time with me. But since we are both home this weekend, I've basically already told you everything that happened this week. So instead, I'm going to talk to you about something that I've kind of been thinking a lot about, even though it's only the first week of school. And that something is job interviews! And the crowd goes wild. So I read through this email I got from the Career Center about all of the job fairs and when they're being held and like who with and stuff like that. And I RSVP'd for a couple that needed RSVPs, and I've been thinking a little bit about job interviews. Because I would like to get a super awesome internship this summer where I can wow them with my amazing mental facilities. And one of the most important parts of getting a job is having a good interview. Now, nobody likes job interviews. Unless you do like job interviews, in which case I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you're an alien. And probably one of the most cliche questions they ask at a job interview is, and what would you say your greatest weakness is? And of course, there's a technique to answering these questions, because you don't want to just be like, you know, I don't really like to do work. But you also can't be like, some people say, I just care too much. Seriously, you would never get hired. So now I, Stories and Eddie, am going to share with you, audience member, some of my handy-dandy answers. So a classic strategy when confronted with one of these kinds of questions is to give your job interview a weakness that can also be seen as a strength. For instance, I can be a little bit of a perfectionist or even a control freak sometimes. I just really want the project to be the best that it can be, and sometimes I get a little carried away. Another strategy is to present them with a fault that you've already begun to fix. For instance, in the past I've had a tendency to overinvest myself in things, leaving me overworked and stressed. And then you say, this is something that I constantly keep in mind when I decide to devote my responsibility to something, because I want to make sure that everything I'm involved in has my 100% focus and work ethic. Of course, the best answer is to combine the two strategies. For instance, in the past I've had a tendency to be a bit of a perfectionist or even a control freak. I just really want the project to do well, and sometimes I get a little carried away. And this is something that I keep in mind whenever I'm working on a team, because I know my other team members care about the project too, and I know the best product will come when we all work together equally. Or, in the past I've had a tendency to overinvest myself in things a little bit, because I just don't want to quit. Once I start something, I want to stay with it and keep working on it. But sometimes I invest my time in too many things, and then I become overworked and stressed. So I keep this in mind when I decide to devote my responsibility to something, because I want everything I'm involved in to have 100% the best me, and I know that only happens if I budget my time correctly. Quiet down, I know. I'm the master. Now, the most important part of this exercise is to pick things you actually struggle with. Those two examples I just gave you are actually faults of mine, and that's why I can talk about them in an open and honest manner. You don't want to make up flaws that make you seem better. You just want to paint a nice face on the ones you already have. And believe me, you have enough flaws. And if you follow these simple, easy instructions, then your job interviews will go like this. You know what? Hired! And that is where I leave you today. Bye, Courtney. I have dreadlocks. I don't know why it was necessary to have a hat for each character. I really don't know why this was supposed to be the hat that I wore to job interviews. While I was pretending to be the interview, I bet you totally couldn't tell that the glasses only had one side.